This is a monster created by the Japanese army using a biochemical virus, but they never anticipated that the monster would gradually develop intelligence. The monster triggers the elevator switch leading to the upper floors. Just moments ago, Chioke had risked her life to save a few children, which led the Japanese army to detect the anomaly. Based on the wounds on the corpses, they deduced that someone Korean has broken in and immediately begins searching the entire hospital. At this time, the group has secretly hidden in Sachimoto's room, but then a little girl suddenly screamed out and was heard by a passing Japanese soldier, but the soldier didn't risk going to check it out. Tae-sang covers the girl's mouth and realizes that she is frightened by the paintings in Sachimoto's room. Chioke now realizes that the person before her is the very Sachimoto she has been searching for. She hurriedly presents a painting of her mother to Sachimoto and asks about her mother's whereabouts. It turns out the painting Chioke has is also by Sachimoto. After knowing Chioke is Songsim's daughter, Sachimoto doesn't reveal the truth to Chioke, merely saying he's unsure. Perhaps Sachimoto doesn't want Chioke to know that her mother, whom she's been desperately searching for, has turned into a monster. To ensure the children's safe escape, Tae-sang gives his clothes to the eldest among them and hides the other two in a secret compartment of the car. The boy remembers Tae-sang's words not to lift his head until they are out of the hospital. Coincidentally, Yukiko arrives at the hospital entrance. The guards don't have time to question the boy before he runs out with his head down. In the hospital, the soldier who heard the girls scream at Sachimoto's door reports to Mori. Mori immediately leads soldiers to investigate. Fortunately, Tae-sang and the others hear the commotion in advance and hide around the corner. The soldiers don't find the children and leave. Yukiko arrives at the hospital and finds Ichiro. She suspects Tae-sang has secretly infiltrated the hospital, so she instructs Ichiro to move Myongja to another cell. It seems the Yukiko family has significant influence, or else Ichiro wouldn't be so deferential to her. Myongja is moved by soldiers to the second underground level, just a wall away from where the monster is. The soldiers are about to return to the surface, but unexpectedly, the monster has learned to use the elevator and meets the soldiers head-on. The monster immediately begins slaughtering the soldiers. Ichiro, hearing the gunfire below, thinks it's caused by intruders and assembles a squad to head downstairs. But what greets these soldiers is the terrifying monster. The suddenly enhanced security also leads to Tae-sang and the others being discovered by a Japanese military unit. In the ensuing fight, Tae-sang is shot. Chioke helps Tae-sang with a makeshift bandage. To find Myongja more quickly, Yongwon splits up from the rest. After agreeing on a meeting place, they start searching the hospital, but they didn't get far before Tae-sang ran into Chioke's mother. Who had turned into a monster. To protect her daughter, the mother uses her body to block all incoming bullets. Then her body mutates again, and countless tentacles, like branches, fiercely protect her daughter in the middle. Just as the monster approaches Tae-sang, he reacts and dodges. The monster extends its tentacles, continuously attacking Tae-sang. To help Tae-sang escape, Chioke picks up a rifle and shoots at the monster, but the monster, having consumed too much flesh and blood, is barely affected by the attack. Tae-sang quickly pulls Chioke into an iron door, but the monster's attack dents it significantly. Hearing the commotion, the Japanese soldiers rush over. They capture Chioke and Tae-sang and lock them in a cell. Elsewhere, Juntae is captured by Ichiro, who, wanting to gain something from Juntae's father, doesn't harm him but also locks him up. A Japanese soldier attempts to humiliate Chioke, but Gato timely intervenes, not out of kindness but because he sees something familiar in Chioke's eyes. Upon learning that Chioke's mother is the monster he created, Gato brings Chioke a cup of water. Watching Chioke's suspicious gaze, Gato drinks from his own cup. However, a test tube containing parasites has been opened on a nearby table. On Tae-sang's side, Mori, hoping to rely on Tae-sang's wealth to stay in Tokyo after the war, secretly releases him from the cell. Tae-sang overpowers the guards watching Chioke, finds the keys, and successfully reunites with her. They head to the cell to rescue others but find it empty. As Tae-sang turns around, he discovers the monster is right behind him. Seeing scattered nitrogen cylinders on the ground, he devises a plan to deal with the monster. After emptying his pistol, as the monster approaches, Tae-sang smashes a nitrogen cylinder. Nitrogen fills the corridor, putting the monster into a coma, but it also releases a terrifying spore virus from its body. Anyone who comes into contact with the spores will be infected. Elsewhere, Chaeyoke learns from Gato that her mother is the monster. Unable to accept the truth, she furiously knocks Gato to the ground. Taesang also meets up with Youngwon at this point, and he tells Youngwon to hide with the other survivors while he goes out to look for Chaeyoke. Chaeyoke has changed into a Japanese uniform and disguised himself as a soldier, threatening Gato to take her to her mother. They encounter a search squad. The commander wants Gato to order the killing of the monster, as it has already caused many soldier deaths. Gato states there's only one way to eliminate the monster.
燃やすこと。の母親だろう。はい。本当に殺せるのか。
Chaeyoke, still aiming her gun at Gato, is suddenly knocked out by a Japanese soldier from behind. Several trucks drive into the hospital above. Ishikawa's plan to rescue Myeongja kicks off, with Taesang's people subtly blending in. Though Taesang finds the cell, Myeongja has already been moved. When Chaeyoke regains consciousness, she finds herself chained and surrounded by armed Japanese soldiers. Gato tells Chaeyoke not to struggle as he will soon reunite her with her mother. Gato is ordering the soldiers to use nitrogen to drive the Chaeyoke, seeing the monster slowly approaching, can't believe this is the mother she hasn't seen in 10 years. Gato was expecting a mother-daughter fight, but it didn't happen. Hearing Chaeyoke's voice, the monster stops its attack, seemingly regaining human consciousness and memories. As Chaeyoke repeatedly calls out mother, tears even seem to flow from the monster's eyes. Sensing something wrong, Gato orders his men to open fire. The monster protects Chaeyoke, taking all the bullets on her behalf, breaks the chains binding Chaeyoke, and throws her into a corner before collapsing from the nitrogen attack. Wanting to rush over, Chaeyoke is stopped by the arriving Taesang. Ignoring Chaeyoke's protests, Taesang takes her to the rendezvous point agreed with Youngwon. Surprisingly, Mori brings Myeongja there too. With everyone gathered, all they need to do is wait for the appointed time to escape on the trucks. Taesang came trembling to Chaeyoke and they embraced. But behind Taesang, countless tentacles suddenly appeared. Chaeyoke tried to run away, but in the next second, the tentacles pierced through her body, and in front of her, Taesang had already turned half of his face into a monster. The group that had just assembled was climbing down the bed sheet one by one. Taesang told the woman and the old man to go down first, but when it was Chaeyoke's turn, she insisted on letting the others go down first so she could be the lookout.
피나 좋아하시오?
Just when the atmosphere is a little ambiguous, a Japanese soldier suddenly bursts in. The Korean soldiers couldn't control their fire, so the other Japanese heard the shots. They will soon be surrounded by Japanese soldiers. In order to buy time to escape, Taesang and Chaeyoke set up barriers in the corridor. Out of guilt, the Korean soldiers joined them. The Japanese kept shooting at the barriers so hard they couldn't lift their heads. The tables, chairs and benches were no match for them. After a round of shooting, Chaeyoke was unharmed and Taesang was only slightly bruised, but the Korean soldier was hit in the stomach by a bullet. He asked Chaeyoke to give his name tag to his mother and the soldier breathed his last. They went back to the house and Taesang told Chaeyoke to go first and he would take the rear. After that he held Chaeyoke's hand reluctantly. As time was running out, Chaeyoke didn't think twice about it, but when everyone came down and Taesang was left alone, the rope on the window was thrown down. Chaeyoke realized what Taesang's last action meant. Taesang decided to sacrifice himself to give them time to escape. Chaeyoke decides to go back to Taesang, but the appointed time has already come. Looking at the carload of people behind him, Gapyeon can only tearfully start the car and prepare to leave. As Ishikawa was leaving, Gapyeon's car returned to its original position. The group left the hospital without any problems. Taesang, the Japanese launched another attack and Taesang hid in the ventilation duct. Sir ordered the soldiers to enter the ventilation ducts from all directions to capture him. Taesang was being chased and fell into a pile of corpses. On the other hand, Juntaek was finally released after Nawaldaek gave enough money to the Japanese officer, but Juntaek had been tortured to the point of delirium. Myeongjo also got out of the car in the field and met up with Ishikawa behind him. In the hospital, Gato looks at the empty glass and ponders. As Chaeyoke didn't drink the water, Gato returns to his office after dealing with the monster, and the glass of water with the parasite is empty. Gato wonders who drank the water in the glass. The kidnapped men tell Gato that 4 people came to the room. They are Chaeyoke and Taesang and Soma and Myeongja who betrayed the Japanese army. It's still a mystery as to which of the 4 was the lucky one who drank the viral water. Taesang wakes up from the pile of corpses and struggles to get up, but a pistol is pressed against his head. Gap Pyong's side is also in trouble, with Ishikawa's men in hot pursuit. Ishikawa didn't want them to survive at all. Luckily, Tae-sang has a backup plan. Gap Pyong drove the car to the downtown area. Youngchun arranged for a beer festival to be held downtown, so the survivors were able to escape. But when they couldn't catch the survivors, they took it out on the drinking crowd and beat them indiscriminately. Even Youngchun didn't escape and was caught by the hair. Yukiko receives news that Ishikawa has stayed out all night, and knowing that Myongja may have escaped, she runs to the hospital in a rage. It turns out that Yukiko is the one behind all this, and that she is the one who financed the hospital and the lab. Yukiko is so disappointed with Ichiro that she wants to dismiss him from his post. Ichiro panicked and pulled out a stack of data saying that he had developed a creature that could rock the world. If we give him more time, the whole world will change. On the other hand, Tae-sang got up from the ground again, and it seems that he escaped again. And the final shot of the film is of Myongja. She's sleeping in Ishikawa's arms, but a weird bug is moving on her face.